I'm Tasleem Padamsee. I am Assistant Professor in the Division of Health Services Management and Policy in the College of Public Health. And I have been mentoring students for a long time. This is my fourth year on the faculty in the College of Public Health, and I've been mentoring students all 4 years since I've been here. And the research that I do is in two different areas. The main one that most of my projects are in has to do with breast cancer prevention for high-risk women. The second area of research that I am involved in is HIV and AIDS policy, specifically national level policy in the U.S. and in Britain, and I study how policies get made, implemented, what the politics are around those things, and how they change over time in order to try to respond to the needs of marginalized populations. I work with students who are research assistants or on research projects in two different ways. So the first one is students who come with their own idea or are doing a capstone project or a research thesis and need help developing an idea is also a possibility, but basically those students are in charge of their own project. In which case, I think my job is to help them understand what the process is of getting a research project done, which means that you have to ask a good question, you have to know how to do that, you have to ask a question that's answerable with a specific kind of data that you can get your hands on or create or collect. And the second type of research that I engage with students in is where they're an assistant on my projects. I also try to involve those students in figuring out what the stages are or where we need to go next, and try to give them opportunities to also ask questions and shape the research process and outcomes, because it's an opportunity to kind of get more minds in the room to help solve research problems. So I think those are two pretty different models, and which one students are engaged in is kind of a question of how much autonomy they want, how much control over their own project they want, and what kind of experience they want to have. I try to take on students who have had some background in the area, meaning I'm a sociologist by training, and I do health and health policy research, so at least a couple of courses that are related to that in some way. So public health students, but I also have students in other health sciences, students who've taken sociology courses, for instance. If students have had a methodology class of any kind, that's particularly helpful, or a research methods class. They do need some kind of methods background, some genuine curiosity. And in general, I look for a pretty strong transcript, because it's a reflection of ability to kind of put in sustained effort over time, although it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I require a bunch of things like a transcript, a resume, a reference, stuff like that, and we just have a sort of careful process of making sure that it's a good match between me and the student, and then we have kind of a trial run period of a few weeks before we truly commit. What I enjoy the most is helping people understand kind of what's behind the curtain. I think that undergraduates, especially the ones that I have had come into my office, I've had a lot of very smart people come in here and want to try out research, or they know they're going to like it, or they're pretty sure they're going to like it and they want to give it a shot, or they have no idea what it is, but they can see that it's important, and so they want to get involved so they can understand it better. And in general, by the time you get to that point, you're a very sophisticated user of research, meaning that you've had a lot of education, you've been through high school, you've been through a bunch of college, you probably have areas that you feel like you have more expertise in, and you've read a lot of research in those areas. And so you have an idea of what research is from the sense of like what it produces and what we can do with it. But most students have very little idea of what it takes to produce those results that they're reading and studying afterward, and that we're using to hopefully change the world in better ways. And so working with undergraduates on research is a fun opportunity to help them understand kind of what's behind that. How do we create knowledge? How do we ask questions? How do we answer them? How do we know if our answers are trustworthy? How do we know if other people's answers are trustworthy? And the very meticulous, error-prone, do it over and over again to get it right kind of process that is actual research. It can be frustrating, but it's also really fascinating and absorbing for a lot of us, and including a lot of students, and it's fun to see students see all of that behind the curtain, and then for a lot of them to kind of get turned on by the process of being part of generating knowledge and new ideas that hopefully will contribute to something bigger.